Okay, hello everybody. Today we are covering the major projects, I have to admit I have probably participated a little bit too much in the Major Project Association. It's a society where we try to advise, well, I'll introduce them in a second briefly, governments, large companies and supply chain for major projects to be actually more informed about what is required in major projects. The problem is, what I didn't spot at the time, we have a branding issue here. In America we call it mega project, and that has been around for quite some time. Unfortunately that entails, if you use it as keywords, often just infrastructure project, and here we are talking of physical infrastructure. So it's often construction project, bridge, civil engineering project and associated, whilst the major project is an emerging body of literature that is really trying to encapsulate major projects by a different definition. Yeah, so there may be some terminology issues. Alex was probably the most prosaic about it, and he said, mega sounds so much cooler, yeah? So I'm not sure that legitimizes mega projects, but still, there you go. Yeah? So the terminology is jumping a little bit. There's another announcement. I think we will have as well a conference from one of your teams, and we will probably use this time slot in the week of the wait a minute, which one is it? When is your date? 6th of December. Yeah. That is correct. So it will be probably the time slot now, because I was approached from colleagues that you had emailed that suddenly talked to me and said, wow, we are coming to give a talk at your conference. And I was surprised about that. So, but it's a very good thing. Yeah. So in a way, we will have probably on the 6th of December, have a conference here for probably 2 hours. Is that correct? 2 hours, yeah?
It's Friday. 6 is Friday?
No, it's a Thursday.
No, 6 is Friday.
It's a Friday. Oh, damn it. Okay, I have to talk to them again. Make sure that you communicate the date clearly with them. Yeah. So I got the date from them. So this is slightly okay. But there will be a conference. And we will have one additional week actually in between before you write the exam. So I will actually do a guest lecture. I won't, but I have actually a guest lecture. Yeah, talking a little bit about project information networks. Yeah, so there's another talk to come on that. Okay, but we make sure that that gets as well communicated, that you have it all in your timetables too. Yeah, with Friday we have potentially a time overlap there. Okay, coming to today's talk. So, mega project and program management. There are a few good references, but my preferred literature probably goes back to Ben Flyberg, as he is called. And that has a lot to do because he has actually kind of a holistic view and sets it into the bigger picture. The problem a little bit with him is that he is quite focused on risk, as you can see, and he looks probably a little bit more on the government perspective of projects, but nonetheless, it's actually a holistic account and probably worth a read. We have as well access to the Major Project Association, so if you're you can see their abstracts, but the reports are actually just available to members. But if you're interested in a topic, come to me and I'm very happy to share the insights into that. Yeah, that is something that you have to engage with, so if you're interested in that resource. Okay. So, major or mega project, yeah, you noticed that already. It's a different kettle of fish. It doesn't really correspond to our traditional project theorem. And there's a reason behind it, because often the scale and visibility is very different. So, and the simple way of translating that is when projects start affecting macroeconomies. What is a macroeconomy? Yeah, larger scale. How large is that? Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So when we say a national macroeconomy, it's all the business interactions that we do in that country, quite frankly. Yeah. So that is as well. Okay, I don't want to give too strange examples. If I have a corner shop, yeah, and I sell you a newspaper, that is part of the macroeconomy. It's very small, yeah, that is one interaction. But it's literally all the economic interactions that we do nationally is the national macroeconomy. So it's not a structure, it's a summary term for economic interaction. I hope that makes sense. And macroeconomy can be as well on a global scale. Yeah? Okay. So what are mega projects? Before I ask you, I have a few suggestions. Yeah, so first of all, a definition. It's often interesting for us as project managers or companies, you can see when a major project is kind of in the initiation, somebody has applied for money, yeah, to do a major project, it incentivizes global players. Yeah, it has normally at least a national scale, if not even a global scale. Yeah, and in the UK we have been a little bit more pragmatic. We have put a amount to it, which is a little bit strange. They clearly haven't read the reports from the World Bank, but or maybe they contempt them. That could be another solution. But they have put a 1 billion label on it. So if and they have said as well it's infrastructure, but this is ambiguous. We come to that in a second. Yeah, that comes a little bit from the initial construction notion, but it's a large-scale infrastructure that is designed and delivered as a mega project of 1 billion or more. Yeah, and Flubeck was already thinking of other things than physical infrastructure, yeah, building bridges and roads and maybe a rail link, but as well other projects in mind. Yeah? So there's odd thing. Is $1 billion the same as £1 billion or €1 billion? No. So this is probably, what do they mean then by that?
Project with high cost.
Pardon?
Project with high cost.
Yeah. This is the best translation probably from that, yeah. So you have already done the trick, yeah. This means like you have enormous costs, and it's really more the scale, yeah. What is the annual turnover of Great Britain, GDP? Does anybody know? Oh, we are again in the guessing business. Does anybody know a national GDP? No, nobody is interested in this. Okay, I can tell. This is kind of tough. What is the... okay, I give you a weird one, and then the GDP is like homework. For example, Barclays, yeah, you know them, credit bank, they have an annual turnover of 29 trillion. That is a lot. But this is the whole of Barclays. Where does Barclays do business? Who has an account with Barclays? Don't raise your arm. I mean, like, who are the people that have an account with Barclays? Is it just local people? Okay, yeah, it's an international bank. It's a global bank. It's one of the largest. Superb, thank you. So this is trillion. This is billion. The emphasis is here that it has an impact, yeah, that is so... Oh, somebody Googled it. How large? Oh, nobody Googled it. Oh, I thought we had here an insight. Okay, GDP, yeah, look it up. This is kind of meaningful, yeah. Especially when you work with percentage, yeah, if you get the commission of a major project, it's a lot. I'll give you that much. So, okay, 1 billion, and I leave it with that. I don't make comparison anymore on that account. And there's a productivity paradox, yeah? We actually do them that large scale because we realize the interconnection. That is a problem with mega projects, yeah, or major projects. So this is a project that you can properly divide into smaller projects to achieve it, but it's often given out as one project, or whereby government given out as one project because there are a lot of interconnections. It's recognized that there's a complexity, whatever that means. We have to come to terms with that in a quick notion. And another informal definition of those projects is it has a transformative impact on society, nations, and local populations. What does that mean? That is heavy. Is that good or bad? Both. Yeah, it can be either. Yeah, I like that it's both. Yeah, but what does that mean, transformative?
It affects the whole country, every single person.
Yeah.
And also the campus.
Also what?
Also, if, for instance, a big airport,
Hmm.
then we have wider stakeholders.
Yeah. Yeah, so the airport is a good example. Yeah, a new major airport can actually change how we fly. Yeah. And it means that we are visiting suddenly countries that we have never visited before. Yeah, but it means as well you change actually how we do things. Yeah, that is probably the easiest way said, but the most loaded one with implications. But it has a transformative impact on nations and local populations. How do you think about this? Is this good? What would be a good example?
Quality of life probably getting better.
Yes, very philosophic. Yeah, but right answer. Yeah, this was one of my favorite ones. It can improve the standard of life, for example. Yeah, very good. What can be? Yeah, another example maybe. Bad one.
The bad example probably small businesses can be wiped out of the bigger picture. It's like this Trinity Square that we developed. You know, some of the small shops were completely closed off because they couldn't.
Okay, you have to help me here. I don't know the Trinity Square. What is that?
It's in Gita.
Okay, so Trinity Square and oh, is this a new city center? Actually, I do know it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've visited the construction site. Oh, this is embarrassing. Okay, I should really know the name. Yeah. So this is a new city center. You're quite right. Yeah, from Gateshead.
Yeah.
And what is it?
So basically, because they developed big Tesco and all these bigger shops, so the small one completely disappeared.
Yeah.
They couldn't compete.
Yeah, in a way that is always what globalization gets blamed for. Yeah. So, but in a notion, one project that was meant to actually enable, I suppose, city life. Yeah, it's kind of a plaza concept in the middle with shopping facilities. Has actually wiped out the business opportunity from smaller shops around it, because the big shops, it was kind of tailored to giving access to global brands. Yeah, so hence, well, Tesco is it's global, I would say. But there are other shops as well that have actually moved in, that have taken the market slice away. Yeah. A more agent one is actually the metro center here in the northeast. It has literally transformed a lot of places. Yeah? So South Shields was as well in the past a shopping center apparently, and there were a lot of local hubs. But with that, the Newcastle has actually, or Gateshead really has. Is it Newcastle or Gateshead? Gateshead. Okay, thanks for clarifying. They have really transformed this marketplace for a lot of small companies. Yeah. So this would be maybe perceived negative, especially if you have the shop, yeah, and you're very passionate about it, and suddenly it's taken away from you. Yeah, then it's kind of bad. But I want to come a little bit more to terms with it. I want a few examples of what you identify. We have a rough idea now. Like it's kind of like on the higher side of the budget. Yeah. So what does that actually? Wait a minute. Let's go one back. If you know how to manage projects, and what budgets do you normally go for in your project? What is a reasonable budget to do what you're doing in your project? 0? Robert's coursework budget 0. Okay, yeah, no, but aside of that, I mean, this implies, of course, you name a product or service that you're delivering, right? It's not just like 40 million, yeah? Does that make sense? I mean, it makes sense as well, yeah? 40 million is a good answer. But for what? Actually, now I'm picking on the team, but maybe somebody else has as well the answer. How much is the new campus that Newcastle University is building as a new science hub for yeah, expanding their scientific activity? Does anybody know? Yeah, okay, that was we have quite an international audience here, so that was probably built on thin ice. Guesses? University campus?
50 million.
Yeah, this is pretty spot on, yeah. So, so in enlarging the campus a little bit, I think for what was it? What did it stand for? It's I think SAGE. So that was. Does anybody know the acronym? What it stands for? It was agriculture. Something else. Yeah, okay, never mind. It's a building, yeah, for lecturing rooms, laboratories, and many other things. It was costed at 10 million initially, and then like specific requests came from some of the professors, so they won bids, and now it's roughly around 50 million. So this was a very good guess. Yeah. A little bit the problem is that the government has changed recently, not that recently, yeah, but for a construction project recently, 5 years ago, and it meant that they are not like that keen on that campus anymore, and they cut actually the money, which is tricky. But okay, so there are some, and this is like a big building, yeah, 50 million. So what do you do if you know how to build projects and you see this bid? Like, does anybody want to bid for that? 1 billion. No, somebody is already like, no, I had enough. This is too much. Why would you not bid for it?
It's too much.
Oh, I like that. So it was really on the premises, it's too much. What shall I do with all the money? Yeah, there's no saving anymore. Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, no, but yeah, what is your rationale behind it? Why is it too much?
It's too much risk.
Too much risk. So what do you imply here in the risk? What are your considerations behind that?
I guess when you fail, the more expensive the project, the bigger the impact on your career is.
Okay.
When you fail in such a big project.
Yeah. So you had actually taken notes when you listened to the Sydney Opera House and the architect, yeah, initially going for the project. Yeah, that's quite smart. Yeah, so the reputation is, and you are in the media focus straight away with a project like that. Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, you're probably quite unique, but normally 1 billion project, you have a lot of people that get interested. Yeah, it's how do we work our profit out? If we work as a project manager, do you have a standard fee?
Probably 20%.
Pardon?
You
Yeah.
charge probably, so you calculate the cost and then you take 20% on top of that cost maybe. It depends who is
Depends on the
manager.
contract.
Yeah, this is a good point. Yeah, but here you design, of course, a contract. No, nobody from construction. We do it actually in a percentage. It's 3%. Yeah.
3% for what?
European on the building substance. Yeah. For the project management, you can actually go. Oh, I say this on camera. I should be careful here. There have been cases in the past where project teams have actually signed a contract with a fixed fee, and then afterwards went for the percentage. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a law actually. Yeah. So. Yeah, okay, but yeah, this is on camera. With major projects that may be different. Yeah? I don't recommend going in front of the European Court with something like that. Yeah? Don't get me wrong on that one. Yeah. Okay, but the idea was that they are potentially financially desirable projects to get in. Yeah. But there's a huge risk with it. So it tells you as well that you have to have a certain risk-averse culture if you are taking a project on like that. Yeah. But we unfold that in a second. So what are examples maybe of mega projects or programs that you have come across? Well, we have discussed already a few.
The H2B1.
Okay, yeah.
H2, because that's going to change.
H2, yeah.
The high-speed, what is it called? High-speed train from Birmingham to
Yeah.
London. Yeah.
So the high-speed train from London to Birmingham. Yeah, the S was missing, but yeah, you're spot on. And what is did you know the budget by any chance?
Not even slightly.
No. Okay, so how do you know about this project?
I'm from Birmingham, and there's a lot going on about, a lot of talking going on about it when I was there. So
It's in the newspaper as well.
Yeah. Okay, it's in the news media. And what is the promise with this project?
Isn't it that we're going to be able to get from Birmingham to London in, was it an hour, half an hour?
No, I think it's only 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Less than you actually do now.
Oh, you do already the heartbreaking thing. He was giving me absolute times, and it's just a 20-minute improvement. This is not much.
That's true, isn't it?
Okay, yeah. So we have different percent. So it's fast travel from Birmingham to London to keep it very simple.
Yeah.
And you weren't quite sure. You were impressed already with an hour, but then you said maybe it's just half an hour. That would be nice. Yeah, but you were actually more informed. How long is the train journey at the moment?
From Birmingham to about an hour and a half. So
An hour and a half. So 20 minutes, and it's probably just 1 hour roughly-ish. Yeah.
So I was right.
So okay, but you were not impressed by that. Yeah. You see. Does anybody know the budget behind it? It is in the billions, yeah. It is actually a major project, yeah. Okay, maybe another one. That was an interesting one. That was again construction, infrastructure. Maybe a little bit something else than construction. What is that? Okay, and this is where? Dubai. And how did you know the rough price? Okay, brilliant. 400 billion. And what currency is it? Dollars. Okay. Wow. Did they deliver? Actually, they did kind of deliver in time, isn't it? Was slightly late, I think 1.5 years. But when they came to the estimate, that is actually the time that they gave themselves. Okay, so this is quite an interesting one. But it's, I suppose, skyscraper, and it's at the moment the tallest building, isn't it? Yeah. Will be actually succeeded soon, yeah, but still at the moment like world leading. Quite interesting one. Did it run over budget? Against the planning?
Over budget, time and cost.
Yeah, it's true. How much was it over?
I don't know exact, but about the time, at the beginning it's around 3 years. Later on, to complete this project is around 5 years.
This was before they actually started the planning, to be fair. So
when you start the project, at the first, the planning to complete this tower in 3 years. Okay, later on to complete this tower, 5 years. Let's go around 2 years over the time. About the cost, I'm not sure.
So you say after planning it was actually 2 years over time. Because there was a huge debate which was the planning document. I know that caused a loan delay, because they started actually taking that quite seriously, and the I think it was actually the ministry delayed it. They wanted to have a
problem in foundation.
yeah.
Okay, because near this tower there is another towers. Okay, when you start to plan the foundation, it is affect about other towers. Okay, to start restructure, redesign the foundation. It took too much time.
Okay. So even technical challenges were discovered after planning. That is in a way very destroying, but we have that quite often. Yeah. So another building, but let's move a little bit away from construction. Construction, we have actually quite a few very popular ones. We have the Channel Tunnel that is well documented. We have as well large construction projects. But what other major projects or programs do we have?
Well, space programs, pretty large.
Yeah. Do you know a name for that?
I heard that India are getting involved.
Okay. Okay. So you are thinking in terms of so what you named was the space program, and you heard actually that India has now their own, or do they get involved in a space program?
I think I'm not sure, but I think they're trying to start their own mission to get to space.
Okay, their own mission to space. Yeah.
Is this true?
India is, I think, one, but well, there are a few other ones. At the moment, there are new races towards the moon, which is quite interesting. Yeah, to build a space station there. But this is still in. There are plans to it, but they haven't yet decided which plans to go forward.
Virgin, he's trying to get holidays to the moon, isn't it? Richard Branson.
Yeah, that is another project. Yeah, and is this as well in the billions?
Must be, yeah.
Yeah. What is it called actually? The travel that Virgin wants to. Yeah, Galactic. I thought Virgin Galaxy, but could be Galactic as well. Yeah. So that is as well in the larger project. Who do they work with? Yeah. So it's actually a cluster set up to commercialize tourism to space. Yeah. But that is just flying out of the stratosphere and coming back in. Yeah, that is not visiting the moon and going for a walk and coming back. Yeah, that is a different game. Yeah? So this is in a way what we try to do again. Yeah. So, but is there a fixed budget to this?
Is there not a man mission to Mars? I don't like 20 by 20 or something, or 20, 25. I can't remember if there's supposed to be a man mission. They're trying to go to Mars.
Yeah, he won Nobel Prize for that. Yeah, they're from Poland, someone. The person won Nobel Prize.
Okay, yeah. So we get here a patchy program together. Yeah, it's a mission to Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2025, I think. But it's one-way ticket, definitely. So people are getting there, but they don't coming back. They're staying there forever.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how the job was advertised, a no return ticket, and they wanted to see if people want to sign off to it.
All tickets already sold, so many
Yeah.
people want to actually go there,
Yeah.
even knowing it's one-way ticket.
Yeah. So there is an incentive at the moment, but it's actually a return ticket.
Is it?
But there was a huge debate. This came from the NASA. This plan exists for quite some time. You have a 1 hour window to run around on Mars, then you have to get back and like basically use gravity and a little bit rocket acceleration to get back. Yeah, otherwise you miss your window. The planets are not synchronized anymore and it's a lot longer journey. And actually you don't have the right angles anymore to get back. Yeah. So it's kind of a long flight for 1 hour walk. Does that make sense? And that was what the uncertainty was about.
What is the risk assessment on this project then?
Yeah, this is a good question. Yeah, actually have a look at NASA's risk management. You will be shocked that no, I shouldn't explain too much. But on the missions, their risk answer is to invent the best answer possible. Yeah. So this is literally how they did it in the past. Now they have more sophisticated risk management. But we come to that. So okay, we had space travel, major programs. You associate that probably with expensive. What are other ones? Is it just space and construction?
Maybe these projects, like high technology, what they do with this calator, yeah? What was this called in Swiss?
Oh, in Switzerland,
Yeah.
yeah, the CERN.
It's CERN, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nuclear. Yeah, no, yeah, okay. It's a particle accelerator. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe that.
and that, yeah, good example. Yeah, and what was that? What kind of project?
Scientific project.
Yeah.
They will try to do something.
Yeah, so we have research projects or science project where we try to advance our understanding. Normally it's around a refinement. Yeah, actually, one interesting thing is how fast we are spinning. Being more precise in measuring speed has to do as well with accuracy, how far we can fly. You know, when you kind of swing yourself out with a rocket, the more precise you are, the closer you land to Mars or you miss it by a few kilometers. You know, so accuracy is important. Yeah, but so this is in a way one of those projects. Yeah, that was certainly a major project. What was there a cost overrun?
Something about billion, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, quite drastic one as well. again, that was probably perceived a failure, but it came completely from private investment. Yeah, so the whole cost overrun was actually kind of funded. It's unfair to say it wasn't a taxpayer, but it came from research budgets. So this comes often still from national taxpayers, but it's filtered already quite functional towards research outcomes. Yeah? So okay, we have scientific projects. What else do we have?
Charity ones, like them big global live aid things.
Do
you know what I mean? They're big projects.
Yeah, which one?
Like charity ones, like I don't know.
Charity, yeah.
Live aid.
Yeah, Live Aid, you're spot on. Do we reach $1 billion in those?
I don't know.
The amount of donations that go, I'm pretty sure has got to have a few billion in the pot.
Yeah, okay, this is the other way around. Yeah, I would say the charity. First of all, we have major events, and such events are actually as well in a billion radius. The charity projects often don't leverage that themselves, but you have that often in crisis areas that donations are made in that height. They come often from governments. It's taxpayers' money that is put towards it. When do we have such donations?
Every Christmas.
Every Christmas, I like that. This is a UK answer, I like that, yeah. So people actually donate, but the governments give it on a regular basis. It's normally to do with war zones, yeah, and disasters. And it's often enormous releases, so they're as well in a billion category, and are often for rebuilding efforts, yeah. And yeah, there's as well an issue of with the implementation. Okay, so we have as well risk and disaster. Well, suppose disaster project. That sounds quite bad, isn't it? Disaster relief projects. I think this is better, isn't it? Yeah. So otherwise, we don't have the big ones. Yet. Yeah.
Defense projects are always huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah, defense is really big, yeah, and huge change projects. I'll just name a few. Yeah, we have IT, we have major change projects, educational system changes, and wait a minute, what else have we got? I suppose you could even name Google and Facebook billion projects, yeah, or the spin-offs. I shouldn't really say it that way, but the NSA, yeah, that is as well a billion project. Yeah. So and they are not very popular at the moment. But okay, I have a few examples, and you said the right term again. I'm again a huge fan of defense projects, unfortunately, mostly because data is very accessible to me. But that is another story. You may have had that as well with Claudio. Yeah, we had actually good collaboration with one of the local companies here, and they manufacture submarines in Callao. I think I've told you the story before. They are commissioned to actually build again submarines, and it's a particular one, Astute class submarine program, and it's run by the Ministry of Defense. The budget initially was laid out with 2 billion, and then in 2011, when it came actually to the implementation, and they had their first submarine actually manufactured, they realized that the production cost will actually run over all 1.2 billion over the costs. And there was another issue, of course. It was heavily delayed because a lot of the products were actually not yet built or designed. Yeah, so they had a supply chain issue. But they were as well quite vulnerable. As a major project, the government changed as well, and they turned actually away from the initial agreed budget. So as major projects, we're as well vulnerable to political shifts. That is quite terrifying. Yeah. But in the end, they actually managed to get back on course. And additional costs have been avoided by reducing the amount of equipment the department originally planned to buy. Yeah, so it means they have actually less equipment in the submarines as what they set out to do initially. And just to give you another beautiful example, a more recent one that I was quite fascinated with, because it was as well very well documented, and you can access the data to this, so that the project management behind it. If you're interested in this, go in both, go in those. Oh, this is still my Astute class submarine. This is quite frankly wrong. It's a Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carrier, and the cost of the 2 new aircraft, so they're just building 2, being built for the Royal Navy, is expected to be almost twice the original estimate, and the government is expecting to confirm this week. This was last week. They haven't confirmed yet, but there you go. So the predicted overrun at the moment is actually a total of 6.2. Oh, I've switched the numbers. That didn't really help. So the initial cost was 3.65 billion, and they now estimated 6.2 billion. It has to do that they are just producing 2. Initially, they wanted to produce 4. Yeah, that had massive implications for them, and came down to the department not having actually enough money. Yeah, so the taxpayers, in a way, the economic crisis brought that project into the knees. Yeah, so even something like this can impact on our major projects, and there's not that much that we can do about it as a project manager. Yeah, we have to basically look out for that and have alternative plans to still succeed. Yeah? So, and as you can see, and this is really why I put that in, they actually divided the, it's a block construction, yeah? So they have modularized the actual construction of the ship, yeah? And it's manufactured in different parts of the countries to give actually the optimum resource to the shipbuilding industry. And that project basically delayed a lot of other shipbuilding projects. So it has even shifted the market a little bit for the UK. Yeah? It was very good for Germany, and I think it was as well very good for South Korea, who are building at the moment carriers. What are they called? It's what do you call the big transport ships for holidays? The cruisers. Holiday cruisers? Do I get away with it? That is not the proper terminology. Yeah, but this is literally what has shifted. There were delays, and a few companies that had ordered some received delays with this, and they have basically turned to other manufacturers. Yeah, they went in one case to Germany, and in 4 other cases to South Korea. Yeah, because they could actually deliver this. Yeah, so it can have a massive impact, and yeah, for a nation it can actually cut into the national budget. Okay. Who is actually involved, and who has mega projects? Mega projects can be really in most industries. There are probably some that are more famous. Manufacturing is quite famous, construction, defense, transportation, IT, government departments, even consultancies and law agencies are actually involved in it, but you should probably rather see those. This is a contractual matter. Yeah, you have consultancies like Glencore, for example, that buy a whole mine in Peru. Yeah, but they are just the shareholder. So it's debatable if, like, mining rights and building a mine, if they just do it managerial, equips them actually in that case. But in the literature you will find them under that. Yeah, but those are very specific cases. And there is a very strong correlation to the academic support studies. This is maybe surprising, but in the major project association, we actually have made a lot of suggestions. I haven't done suggestions for a very long time there, but my predecessors in that association have, and we try new things. Yeah, so the PFI and PPP was an invention to actually get hold of this. What does it stand for, PFI?
Public finance.
Privately funded.
Yeah?
Privately funded.
Public finance
Initiative.
initiative. Yeah, spot on. And then it became the public-private partnership. Yeah? Those are actually procurement methods that were designed, and those came from academia. Yeah? In conversation with large companies. Have they worked? You're not a big fan for major projects. Some are, but some are not. Did they work in Dubai? Yeah, to a degree. Who actually paid the extra money when the house went over cost?
Abu Dhabi, the boy in Abu Dhabi, did he not give him money to finish off like projects in Dubai before? And
Yeah,
then
it was
changing
half by government, but actually, if you Google that, there's a famous case. They had as well a donator. Yeah, it was a local donator that actually supported them and provided the ministry with additional money to complete it. Yeah, and he probably made as well a cut in the building. Yeah, so there is no doubt about that. Yeah, but there are different ways of doing this. Yeah. What is another, so with manufacturing, did you see a major project for every element here? Manufacturing, what did we have here? Shipbuilding? Yeah? Cars? Do we have cars?
Airplanes. Huh?
What would be a major project for cars? Do we have such thing?
It's something like the Bugatti Veyron, like something out there.
Sport cars.
Oh, but you need to sell quite a few, isn't it? So the Bugatti Veyron was an example. Yeah, that would be, I suppose, a VW group. Yeah, but you need to sell then to reach a billion. You need to sell 1,000. That is a lot, but they probably do that, to be honest. Yeah.
Maybe the president car?
The president car. Yeah, they don't reach that really. President's car is around 10 million. Yeah, the billion is really a different category. So maybe the money emphasis was.
Developing Formula 1 cars.
Yeah, it's how much is that roughly? Formula 1 cars.
Half a
£1
million.
million.
The car or the whole team?
No car.
Developing all the new technology would assume would encroach more on £1 billion, wouldn't it?
More than $1 billion, a Formula 1 team. This would make it a very small Formula 1 circuit. But you are normally in the better teams with 200 million per year. That is when you make Red Bull kind of look bad in some races. But with a good driver. Yeah? This is no, but I'm joking about this. Yeah, but 200 million is roughly the input. Yeah. But okay, it's quite difficult with manufacturing. We had shipbuilding. But what else do we manufacture?
aerospace.
Airplanes.
Yes, very good. Yeah, aerospace. Yeah, so when Boeing designs a new plane, this goes in that range. Yeah, and it can go wrong, as you can see with their newest prototype that they run. It can be quite difficult. Yeah. Okay, we had enough of the examples. IT. I forgot about IT. IT, we had massive failures. The biggest is probably the most recent US government tried to actually change how they communicate with their IT system across the whole nation in the United States. That was estimated 1.8 billion. After half the time not having implemented it fully, they realized that they had already made changes of a value of 2 billion and that the completion would be another 2 billion. So they scrapped it completely. This is a wonderful project. Yeah? So if you're interested in this, unfortunately that is mostly media coverage. So I'm not that impressed actually with the sources, so treat that carefully. But here in the UK we had as well with Her Majesty's Revenue Office. They tried to implement as well a new tax system, that taxing system that was too late, and they had already kind of sent the relevant department home, which meant that they had to employ in a short notice a lot of people, train them up to actually cover for the period till it's ready to deliver. Yeah, so those are quite scary projects. You can see that probably between IT and government departments. Yeah.
Is there any project that can be delivered within the budget?
Yeah, this is a good question.
Why
Is this possible?
Why we always making same mistakes? Why the project can't be like costed correctly? You know, why? Why is the problem?
Well, let's throw that question back. Yeah, I have a few answers for that, and we will come to that in a second. But what is the big problem with pricing it the right way, planning it accurately?
Prices change, economies change, steel go up and down, labour, anything. There's a
Yeah, so it's complicated. Yeah, prices vary depending on how much you buy.
it's a forecast,
Yeah,
and then you might have to get more investment.
but you could make a pessimistic forecast. Yeah, you could say like, oh, the economy doesn't look good. Steel prices may rise, or material prices may rise.
People wouldn't get the contract then, because there are people's going to beat them.
Yes.
So they'll undercut them.
Did you listen to that?
I don't understand his accent. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
repeat, but this is spot on, yeah. Okay, a little bit lost in translation, yeah, but it's quite all right. I can repeat it. So you make the point. Those projects are up for bidding. The cheapest bidder wins. Yeah. So the problem is, even if you have priced it very accurately, and we have seen that actually in the past. We had companies that bidded transparent. They even showed the sources why they put certain positions higher. That was like proper scientifically done. And then the irony was they didn't win the contract because they were undercut by another person, well, another team that bidded for it, another company. Yeah, so we have to initially get this well the project. Yeah, this is why we started the public-private partnership. Yeah, what do we do in the public-private partnership? No, sorry, this is for everybody. We try to avoid that. Yeah, you get basically everybody involved, and the client, in some cases the government, looks actually into the planning process. Yeah, it's supposed to be not negotiation, but you are supposed to consult, that you come up with a very informed plan in the first stage, that the definitions are sound. Did that work? In some cases, we see actually that they performed to budget. But if you compare it with other projects, they paid 5 times the price. Yeah? So governments were not that keen on that. Yeah? What about Heathrow Terminal number 5? That is a famous case. That was actually a partnership. Alliance? Oh, this is tricky. It was a collaborative effort. And the money was actually, it ran slightly over cost and it was delayed by a little bit. But actually the Queen had a date to open the Terminal 5, so this doesn't allow a delay. So she was actually there to open it, and then over the night, over the weekend, before it really opened, they did all the finishing. Yeah, but they were at a stage where they could present it. Yeah, so this was basically what happened there, and they worked a lot. A lot of the capacity wasn't accounted for, but the companies made it work with extra hours, extra man hours put in, for free. Yeah.
Robert, you see like a mega project or whatever you want to call it, would they ever like put it out with a schedule of rates they priced out, or will it always just go down like a flood? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So the question here was, why do they put like mega projects out like this? Yeah. So why do you have such a bulk amount? Like, what is it? Has anybody looked into the rail project in China? No. Oh. It's heartbreaking. This is such a cool project, you know. Well, what is the planned investment from China till 2050 into their rail system? Does anybody know? I like that people turn around and point out the Chinese. You, tell me. It was as well in the UK media. It's not a secret. You don't have to have an in the company. It's in the trillions. Yeah, all I'm saying. Have a look at this. It's very cool. Yeah, they had to open it up, and there was a huge outrage about a bribe, where it became clear that 8.6 billion were already filtered into private pockets. Yeah, so this was, in a way, what it became famous for. But the project itself, or the program that they are running, is actually very well organized. Yeah, and if they get it up and running, this could be a very successful program. with probably less cost overruns. Yeah, but coming back to the question, yeah, so normally those are bulked in huge sums. Why is that? Who filters this money? Where does the money come from? Banks. I like that. That was quite pragmatic. But who do the banks actually represent?
Consortiums.
Yeah. Okay, now we talk already about the shareholders behind the banks. No, this is not what I meant. A lot of the money comes actually from governments. Yeah, so it's taxpayers' money, or it's a clustered effort with a prospect return on investment. What does that mean? You have a group of companies that takes a credit, for example, from the World Bank or International Monetary Fund to do projects where they see return on investment. So they pay the credit back with their prospect business views. Yeah? So this is one way of doing it. But normally it's governments. I come to that in a second. In the majority of major projects, 50% of ownership is actually with the government. Yeah, and what is the problem for the government? They don't have money. I like that. No, but they have the opposite problem of what you have. What do you try to do as a normal citizen? You try to save money. What does the you try to make out of very little a lot. What does the government have to do?
Put off your tax.
Put up, yeah, no, okay, yeah. This is like kind of like unproductive with your saving idea, yeah. But the government has to make out of a lot. Okay, this is a joke, yeah. Out of a lot, very little, yeah. This is what they are there for. No, but the reality is they have to filter those amounts of money towards what they set out to do, yeah, to improve potentially infrastructure, yeah, to do what they actually came into Parliament for, to deliver for the people, arguably, yeah. But they have often a big issue with it. They are not necessarily project managers, yeah. Some are. That is a good start, yeah. But they often lump that out because they don't really know how to go best about that. Yeah, there's this popular idea that the private market is the best to deliver something like that. Yeah. Okay, let's dive a little bit in. I hope I answered that a little bit. Yeah. So so some of the.
I was saying, right. So say the government, they know it's going to go over budget. They're probably going to have to pay anyways or something. I don't know. Like a lot of defence, like you know the way people get budgets anyways. Say MOD sites, they'll just give out like a schedule of rates and say, here's a book, 4 meters of wall, that, or if you were doing railways or something, for X amount of like kilometers of track equals X pound, price to that, and then you'll run the bet on different things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
like, why don't they do it like that?
They do it actually like that.
They do. But I mean on the big ones.
Yeah, even on the big projects. So he just gave a very rational argument. If you actually know how much wall you're building, yeah, so you have a piece of wall, and you know how many meters it is, how many stones are in it, then you can price it. Yeah, we do that in construction all the time. On the small construction sites, on our own projects, that goes always well, most of the time, not all the time. Yeah, but it's actually doable. Yeah, why do we get challenged at that large project? Yeah. Yeah, spot on. Yeah. Yeah, this is exactly what so this is in a way we have full agreement. Yeah, we price it the same, but why does it go wrong at the big project?
Maybe there is an extra job. Okay, inside this is construction. You are going to go more the cost. But in the end, when you get the tender, okay, the cost times 1.1 is give you the benefit. Okay, this is the cost.
Yeah, so you work already with risk factors. I like that. Yeah, so you have already adapted there. Yeah. Yeah, there's a uniqueness as well potentially with projects. Yeah, with construction projects that is debatable. Yeah, what is the problem if we use a lot of resources in a project like that, a construction project?
Using the resources all the time. We use the Primavera program to plan for the planning. Okay.
Yeah, okay, you like Primavera, which is this is a very good planning tool. Yeah, but this is a step too far. Yeah, what I want to come to is buying 7 cubic meters of bricks on a pallet. Yeah, you can do this here in the local store but buying the same for a skyscraper, the tallest building in the world, is quite a different game.
Because you can't buy them all at the one time,
Yeah.
at the one price.
And you probably don't want them all at the same time on the site, quite frankly, either. Yeah, so we have actually, that is often called what the dynamic aspect of major projects. We will come to that in a second. Actually, let's push a little bit on with it. So mega projects have clearly some issues with the organization. Like it's often a large temporary coalition, yeah? And when I say coalition, it's like kind of a cluster. You come together, yeah, to deliver it. And this is often of suppliers. Yeah, so this is in a way how we create an incentive as well in those industries. Yeah, so we pull potentially suppliers in. And what do you do when you have too many bookings in your production? That didn't make sense. What do you make of having your order book full? That is what I tried to say. You have a lot of orders. What do you do? Yeah, you run a business. Now you're booked out for 7 years. What do you do?
Employ more people.
Yeah, hire more people. What did you say? Yeah.
Sit back and relax. You're like accounting for 7 years. You will have to work harder.
Yeah, so that is another opportunity. You lean back and play the market. Often you raise prices, yeah, and start expanding. Yeah, that is at least our linear market model that we have, and that costs more money. Yeah, so you actually influence as well prices with those supply chains. Yeah. The other aspect is, of course, that you are often led by large clients or prime contractor or joint venture. So it's often multiple interests coming in at that level. Yeah? And the process is often tailored to the requirements of the project. Some are driven by, if you want, scientific experiments. Yeah? So the PFI is actually kind of invented as a good idea, PPP as well. Yeah, and we are still iterating around with that. Yeah, so you try to really build it up in a way that it's most sufficient. There is, of course, a danger with that. Another one is really the opportunity to find new ways to improve performance. So success depends on new innovative ways to manage uncertainty and complexity. And we already talked about that a little bit. Uncertainty, do you get actually the quantities? Can you incentivize resources enough to actually get the project done in time? Yeah, so this is the linear planning versus the willingness of suppliers, contractors, and so to respond in time to your project. How would you do that? If you have your company and you are invited by one of your main contractors to work on a large project, how important would that project be to you?
Very important.
Very important? Why?
If I invite someone, like you said, private contractor,
Yeah.
why I would invite him if it wasn't so important, isn't it?
Well, a major project, yeah. You probably like to be on it for the prestige, arguably. Is that maybe? So what do we do in a major project? Do we just want to be part of it for nothing?
I think if it aligns with your strategy, the company's strategy, that's why you want to have it. So like mega or major project.
Maybe
If
creating
it's not aligned
networking.
with your strategy, you don't want to do it.
Yeah. So it depends a little bit where you want to be, yeah. But there is an opportunity of bidding for other major projects, and if you can make it work, then you're on a good way, yeah. Marketing as well, yeah.
Networking.
Yeah.
Innovation.
Networking, yeah.
Networking as well, yeah.
You could be on, like, there's always innovation on big projects, and then they're always the first to get it. They know how to do things, and then they have the advantage going ahead then.
Yeah. We come to that in a second. So major projects potentially are as well interested in you being a leader in the market, yeah, technology-wise, probably a step ahead of the others. Now that is when you get into this. This is actually one of the dangerous aspects of major projects. We have a lot of technology companies that get bust in major projects. Yeah, but it's a very good point. Yeah, we normally look for innovation with new technologies as well. But the key element is often marketing and reputation. Once you have worked on a major project, you're perceived to be capable of delivering even those driven and very complicated, complex projects and be part of the supply chain. So the reputation is normally a huge element. And it has often as well to do with quality alignment. There's another element to it. Once you are in it, you often remember who you worked with. You will try to actually sustain the supply chain that you have developed. We will come to that later. I have a case example on that. Yeah. But to summarize, to really jump back to the literature, if you want, mega projects often have a high degree of uniqueness, which creates a white elephant syndrome. What is a white elephant? It's actually a metaphor or analogy in English, British English. We had a white elephant in the room and nobody spotted it or named it. That was a very terrible accent, so apologies for that. Yeah? But what does it refer to?
Not like another, something different.
Yeah, we treat it as well that it's uncomparable. We often market it as well that way to politicians, to the people that decide if the major project goes actually ahead. So there's this this is the newest way of doing it. And that is a dangerous thing. Yeah? It undermines as well a little bit our planning effort. So if you plan it well and you compare it to other and you arrive somewhere at 7 billion and then somebody undercuts you and says no, it's just 2 billion. I can do it for 2 billion. Yeah, you should actually say no, you are crazy. I've priced it rightly. What are you suggesting here? This is not achievable. Yeah, but this is of course not how the negotiations are done. So the white elephant syndrome is renowned as not talking about the most pressing and urgent issue that is at the heart of the group, if you want. Yeah. So, but going a little bit ahead, mega projects usually are late and over budget, so we have recognized that already. It has to do probably with, we call that in the literature, strategic misrepresentation when we come to the planning. Yeah, there's a lot of unfortunate strategic misrepresentation, and some people call it lying, but I have to be careful with this. I'm on camera, so I wouldn't call it lying. It's strategic misrepresentation to get the projects, yeah, or programs. A few of them are successful, and the interesting case is, have you heard of any mega project that was successful? Do you know one mega project that was successful? Time tunnel? Okay. Channel tunnel.
That was over budget.
Yeah. Yeah. That was not right. Channel tunnel. Yeah. What was over budget, was late, and everything. Do you know one?
Vancouver Dam.
Yeah?
The Vancouver Dam, the big dam.
Vancouver Dam?
Was that built on time? I know it was a long time ago, but it was a big project. I think they might have got it on time.
I think there were no planning expectations, to be quite honest.
Isn't it?
I would doubt that. I think the planning went as far as planning how you actually assemble it without a clear deadline, but this is maybe ambiguous. Does anybody know a major project that was successful?
Alex today was saying about successful. What is successful actually?
Yeah?
So run within the budget or another?
Yeah, we would take all the above, please. Yeah? Difficult. Has anybody been driving around recently in Scotland? Scotland? Driving? No. No. We are close to Scotland, you know, it's okay. Have a look. There are a lot of traffic lights suddenly, yeah? The roundabouts have gone. And there are a lot of traffic lights. It was a massive project I better not name some because I put here a company a little bit in the bad light. But some company has put off a mega project with equipping all the roundabouts in Scotland more or less with traffic lights, which is a smart deal. Yeah? This is how you generate quantity, quite frankly.
It's getting like that here as well, though, isn't it?
Pardon?
As it's getting busier, you need more traffic lights.
I think that is what they said. Yeah, this is that was very well sold. Yeah, but what I try to point out, I know of one project that happened here very recently because I read actually for it and I look for it. But most people don't know the mega projects that are successful. Yeah, and that has not to do with that the project managers are not proud of it and talk to everybody that they meet about it. It's more that it doesn't get the media coverage. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Do yourself go and investigate it a little bit. It will be quite interesting to see actually which ones are successful. And they planned as well. They made as well prediction, and they achieved it within budget. Yeah, and in time. And arguably even delivered stakeholder expectations. Yeah. Okay, well, that is another one to think about. Once completed, usually provide benefit less than what was expected. That was a joke about the government. You know, they have a lot of money and yeah, deliver less and less. Yeah, okay, but no, the notion is often that especially if you're bidding for it and you ask for such a budget, you have to actually sell it on a certain level. Yeah? And still, it's not really clear from literature even what makes a project successful. This was a notion that you pointed out earlier. And that is probably clear, but if we go back to the iron triangle, this is normally a good starting point. Yeah, but here we are delivering for people, for societies as well. Yeah? Okay. Where are we? What time do we have at the moment? 2:15 already. Okay, sorry, I have to accelerate a little bit. So, planning does not match delivery. I can summarize that very quickly. There are some... there is an issue with the popularity of mega projects and programs, and I switched quickly through it, but to basically show it to you, yeah, with the correlations, you have like a huge domino effect of immediate interest that try to develop, of course, their products in the project. Yeah, so think of something like the Olympics. There are a lot of individual things that are branded, that are supposed to be presented, have as well media effect or advertising or marketing effect on certain user groups, and that literally creates like a bending effect to the project delivery mechanism. Yeah? Often it's as well seen under public entrepreneurship, hence we had like strange things like public-private partnership. So it's often the leadership is within the public authorities. We have some governments that completely succeed in all major projects is because they have cut actually the people out. Yeah? So they deliver major projects for the local authorities, and the local authorities look at the project, has it been successful, and they say yes. Yeah? So this is an issue. You have just basically cut a stakeholder out that is very important for realizing what really success is. But in the literature you will find this as well. It has often as well an effect on the neighborhoods and natural environment. This is problematic in many countries. Yeah, there's a do no harm paradigm. Yeah, and anybody feel? Well, actually, I know. Has anybody familiar with German projects at the moment? German major projects. There are quite a few. How are they going? And anybody familiar with a major project currently in Germany? Oh, I look at you, but I don't want to put you on the spotlight. But in Germany, we have that issue at the moment tremendously. Did you know a project that I may refer to?
Yeah, we have the airport in Berlin.
Yeah.
And we have the new train station in Stuttgart.
Yeah. Yeah, so two good ones. Yeah, we have a train station in Baden-Württemberg, in Stuttgart, which is supposed to be underground and like fit wonderfully into the city picture and make more space for park and new office buildings as you need in a city. Yeah, and quite frankly, people don't like it. They like the old central station building. It's like kind of crafty. There are coffee shops, and quite frankly, demonstrations have flattened that project. Same in Berlin, a new international airport, supposed to be one of the major airports in Europe, flattened by local residents with their allotments. They like their allotments. They don't want big planes flying over it, quite frankly. Yeah? So do no harm paradigm, very important to consider, yeah? Especially on those projects. There's another one, Philharmonie in the north of Germany, in Hamburg, has now reached as well that budget level. Unfortunate, yeah? There wasn't meant to be 1 billion, but they are steering actively towards it. That is the same problem. Oh, my red has disappeared from the other ones. Okay, never mind. So there is a problem with the leverage of groups. Yeah? You have a domino effect again in the scheduling, and often with actually the leverage group relates to the power to negotiate on the grounds of do no harm to sensitive planning and monitoring it. We had that actually in the Tyne Tunnel here. There was huge concern that the Tyne Tunnel would pollute the Tyne River. So they got actually involved here with the biology department from Newcastle University, and we did fine materials, yeah, in our faculty. And we started actually monitoring. Yeah? We sensed the water, and we could actually see that the Tyne Tunnel had a cleaning effect on the river. Yeah? That was quite surprising. But they as well advertised that later on in the Tyne Tunnel. Yeah? So they had actually used methods to not pollute the river. And that is actually something what you have to look for. Yeah? Then urban mega projects, make sure you don't build it in the neighbor's garden. Yeah? This is the old phenomena. So make sure that it's not too close to large populations, if you want. And because you have there a momentum as well of groups that will of course demonstrate against it. Yeah. And another one was, yeah, if you can show the people as well how the investment from the tax money is actually coming back. Yeah. So show the highlights of potentials in this. Yeah. This can be probably summarized quite prosaically into technical and operational risk versus market risk and institutional and social risk. Yeah, so sometimes we actually change with our projects how people do things. Yeah? So you have actually, this will be slightly controversial what I'm saying, yeah, but with the centralization of shopping centers to Gateshead, you have actually local communities in the surrounding areas probably eroding. Now the shops don't make sense to be maintained anymore. You have just centralized capital, and this is an effect that we see in a lot of them. Yeah. So there is a huge social risk with those. We had that already. It's kind of a issue. Often the clusters that bid for it, they go all in kind of at the cost level as usual. And that is quite frankly not possible, because you have more interdependencies. We come later on as well to the dynamics theorem. There are dynamics that really interfere with your doing business as usual activity in major projects. So costs are often overall underestimated and benefits are overestimated. This is often as well the sales aspect, yeah, to actually make it popular to people. Then you have a dividing line between misinformation and prevarication. It's a very thin line. Yeah? There were even countries that wanted to sue on that basis. Yeah, and greater effort should be really made to explain planning methods and quality checks to actually come to better planning outcomes. And I don't question here the planning at the level of implementing a project like that, but thinking of it more in the picture of major projects. Yeah? A call as well for policies and data needed to do the final analysis, of course. So mega projects are usually contested as well through planning and operation phases, and categorized by, we call it dynamism. I can't really say it properly, but it's basically the dynamics that you have once you start bidding for something. Yeah, there's a chain process. As you pointed out already, once you have a comparative element, like a train journey is increased in speed, You say just 20 minutes, and that creates then a leverage probably for trying to enhance the line even more. Yeah? And complexity is well built in the supply chain made up because it's a larger quantity, normally encounters more people involved, and it's a large sum of money, and it creates incentive. If somebody has a lot of money, then it's always a question of truthfulness. If the budget is as well handed along the lines appropriately. We have unfortunately quite cowboy-like cases in the past where it went very wrong. And often mega projects are sold as a one-off event, and often that is negotiated with an individualized approach, which is often not truthfully approached. So this is a big issue. Do the project management rules apply to major projects? The quantity actually indicates that some of our paradigms are not accurate. One is actually first of a kind. Mega projects are often treated that way, but in reality, if you look at the planning, and this is what we do in the Major Project Association, we have correlated that, and we can actually predict pretty accurately the budgets. So if you have somebody independently planning the project for you, we actually arrive already at the overrun costs. We can even tailor it in by country. We know roughly where you have to pay extra, or where taxes come in, or where certain issues with trust and supply chains are sourced. So we have mapped that actually out. But it's very difficult and to actually convince governments to go by this. The temptation is, of course, like, would you rather pay the predicted 7 billion or give it a shot the guy that says he can do it for 2 billion, quite frankly. So there is a bad alignment here. And although we can make correlations to that and predict it, it's still difficult. It's too tempting. And governments often don't stay in power. This is where succession. Arguably, monoculture is better. This is a huge debate at the moment. So it's supposed to go to local contractors that have never worked on a major project because they understand how business is done locally and so forth. We have no correlations with that. Quite frankly, it's the opposite. In the Olympics, we had a lot of foreign supply chain. They performed actually to what they said they would perform, which was amazing. There were no cut corners in that case. Actually, to be fair, same for the national. They worked very straightforward. Then it's normally perceived that modular bidding helps. We saw that with the ship. It was bidded out to different harbor manufacturing facilities. That is probably the most prosaic translation. But and they did it in different pieces. But quite frankly, the alignment is a big issue then. So modular does not actually necessarily enhance it, although it's believed to do so. And that is actually a very sad notion. I would still recommend to do it. Local residents were involved in the project. With major projects, we have a very bad correlation here. Especially in some particular projects. I name one project where we have a detailed report on in a second and just run through some of the criteria. This is not true for all the projects. If you build like something like a city center plaza, like we had some good examples in some countries, then it can work. But if you build a nuclear power plant, this is not the case. Quite frankly. It's actually counterproductive. So we don't have actually a relevant correlation in this, but it depends on the project. And unfortunately, they didn't do the statistics for specific major projects. Okay. Lessons from recent inquiry into power plants. This is in a way what I advertised just there. It's actually a little bit surprising that came actually out, but they analyzed it on 4 categories. So what not to do in major projects. Don't underestimate the power and duties and influence of local authorities. This is a big problem. They can make it stop, and don't forget that national and local politics might change over time, and thus the attitude towards the project. National and local authorities are not always in agreement with each other. So those projects, potentially, if you have that situation and you want to push on, in major projects, we have often given out the money up front, which is a crazy idea, but it means that you cannot call the budget back. There have been interesting attempts with this. Then don't build a nuclear, what does the FOAK stand for? Yeah, what was it?
First of a kind.
Yeah, you're spot on, yeah. So first of a kind, if there is not a clear long-term strategy for nuclear power. I suppose it's clear what that indicates. And don't underestimate the great deal of bureaucracy required. This was a case actually from Italy. Yeah. With stakeholders, there were quite a few. I suppose the most important one is, again, the money emphasis. Yeah. Don't trust too much your suppliers and sub-suppliers. Check the track record of, what is the EPSC? It's a performance record. Yeah. So literally it's a track record of how they have performed and if they actually completed the project against the contractual obligations. Yeah? Don't underestimate the effort of environmentalist groups are ready to invest through creative public effective actions in order to stop the project. Yeah? In Germany, this is not even nuclear power plants. Yeah? We even failed with airports and train stations on that. Yeah? There are actually some others as well that entertain along those lines. Don't underestimate suppliers whose economic viability is poor and cannot guarantee the company's survival for the duration of the project. Yeah, that is another one. And another one, don't involve local populations and their representatives early on and on a continuous basis. So they really point out, like, don't create a messiness picture to the public, but present it when you have a product that you feel is sound to present. The process itself of something like that can be an emotional journey otherwise. Don't underestimate the importance of local public acceptability. There's actually a syndrome to it. If you want to Google this, it comes back to the whole notion if they're actually happy with having, in this case, a nuclear power plant in the neighbor garden. In Stuttgart, it's a train station that disappeared underground. You would assume that everybody's happy with that, but they were clearly not with the construction. Yeah? And then don't build power plants too close to the residence area. That is the one that we had already earlier. Project management is specific. Don't run the project with people inexperienced in power plant projects. Yeah? So even if it's a uniqueness argument, use people that have, of course, a track record in related activity. Yeah? This is very important. Don't have a plentiful, centralized, and too powerful project management staff for the mega project. This is like when you have just centralized the power, basically, and it can be very problematic. Don't start construction without a great deal of legislation understanding. Don't ignore similar projects, instead gain more reliable forecasts from looking at similar projects and thus avoid biased forecasts, which is a big problem, of course. And don't rely on old and this was a technology link, or over-sophisticated new technologies that haven't yet been tested. So especially at mega projects, you try to run a perfect show. So if you want to have new technologies, then trial them. You know, make sure that you actually have a product that represents you as well in the best light, not something that is just finished in time. Yeah. Don't start the construction if the design is not developed to the detail level, and don't put in place long before actual projects start a real-time systematic information system. That is as well a safe bet to actually fail in this. Don't consider that each project or sub-project is unique, and don't consider risk management as important while simplifying and streamlining is in fact more important. Yeah? So I hope that makes a little bit sense. Yeah? We are after a certain standardization to not deal too much with harmonization of the overall project. Last but not least, I have as well the business strategy don'ts. Don't get trade-offs with subsidized buy-in tariffs that you do not understand. So in other words, your subcontractors have brilliant offers for you, have done it before. That is a bad idea, especially if you have agreed in a systematic way on that. and don't sell licenses too cheap so that some interim entrepreneur makes lots of money. There's as well an issue of seeing how much profit everybody carries away. If a painter gets for one wall something outstanding that he normally doesn't even get in a year, then this is a problematic thing to do. So you have to actually price this accordingly as well. And this is of course to the local place where you do it. Yeah? And don't clutch at straws when trying to make your renewable energy provision targets. This is a metaphor, of course, yeah, but this refers to a little bit the greening idea of putting a solar panel in Scotland on the roof. Yeah, so that is a nice idea, but you should use the resources that are strongest. Yeah, so that is maybe not a good idea in Scotland, where the sun is not often for visits. Yeah. Okay. Where are we time-wise? 25. Okay. I give you a 5 minutes example. Here I have the first time a construction example that actually kind of shines with good practice. And I talk you through it very quickly. It's not the first time. Construction is often very good. Yeah? I don't want to discourage you on that. But this was a particular good example because they have actually done a few things that were outstanding for construction companies and are normally more seen in other sectors. So, and it's a case company from Mace. Just to give you a little bit background, Mace is really all over the world. Their headquarters have disappeared. So they have headquarters in New York and in London and in, now it stretches me, I think Abu Dhabi as well. And the rest I have to guess. But the red dots are literally their local offices. And they were heavily involved, of course, in delivering the Olympic Games. What I want to point out, this is really just merely an advertisement, but it's a culture that they created, and they created that throughout the supply chain, and it's really the red one. Yeah? Our collaborative and entrepreneurial culture, constantly striving to find better solutions to complex infrastructure and property challenges. And they've actually uplifted themselves from traditional infrastructure projects to be even management consultants on some of the IT projects, which is interesting to see. So they clearly made their step in. Here a little bit the numbers for the Olympics, because we have used it a lot, and I wanted to present you at some point with the official numbers. Yeah, so they worked as part of the CLM delivery partner organizations. Mace helped deliver one of the most successful Olympic Games in history. That is certainly true, and it may stay that way because Brazil has as well certain challenges at the moment, and the following partners as well. So they may actually stay there for quite some time as a best case example. So completing a major construction program in that case, that is regenerating a deprived area of London. This was, of course, along the lines of Project Legacy, and leaving a lasting legacy for a generation. The key states were, first of all, the size, to give it perspective. Then you had the Olympic Games, 26 sports, and in 34 venues with 10,500 athletes. Paralympics along those lines as well. And then the budget itself turned out to be, in the end, 9.33 billion. Yeah? And max spend per month, so cash flow is a big issue as well along those lines, was in some cases 150 million, all around there. Yeah? They started in 2006, and handover for the test events in June. That was the UK Games, if I'm not mistaken. They had as well a European event there. That was 12 months before the game. Yeah, so to be safe, they had like a lot of bad examples. They basically prototyped, or they run a test 1 year before they actually arrived there. This is a timeline. They kept it very simple to communicate, of course, the vision that each time period kind of provides. Yeah? So 2007 was really site preparation, but taking as well the time for that. Then 2008 to 2011 built infrastructure, 2008 to 11 as well built venues, and then 2011 to 2012 designated time to test events. Yeah, and as well, of course, following it through. Yeah? So lesson learned, and applying it. Then even they were even there for the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Now that they were still planning that into their life cycle, that normally goes, of course, beyond our project life cycle. So they're still there. And then 2012, deconstruction, transformation, yeah, and then of course as well now to 2025, that is when they are being evaluated against the legacy. Yeah, so it's a very different kettle of projects, if you want, yeah, or programs in this case. If you break it down in an organizational structure, this is really just to show you where they actually were and how this was seen, and you can see it's extremely simplified, yeah, in groupings. Yeah, but so you have really the overlooking committee, the International Olympics Committee, yeah, that hand the Olympics out to different localities. Yeah, then the London Organizing Committee for the Olympics and Paralympics, and then you have on the left overlooking, of course, the Olympic Board, and they were made up of different yeah, representing bodies as well. So British Olympic Association, Greater London Authority, yeah, so this is a local authority if you want. And then again, it goes back to the London Organization Committee being part of it, and then as well government representatives. Yeah, so they actually shadowed or yeah, basically monitored this. And then you had the Olympic Delivery Authority that was accountable for this. Yeah, and then delivery partner was, of course, as well Maze, if you want. Yeah, and then there was a supply chain with it. When you look at the key performance indicators for them, yeah, it was in construction based on health and safety and environment, yeah, and the evaluation afterwards, like, indicated that they had performed over targets. Security, they went actually for secured by design, yeah, so that was quite. We were back at the quality chestnut that we had last week, yeah. So when you design it in a new way and you do it very applied with stakeholders, you can actually do better than quality standards, but you have to prove them. So yeah. Well, a few other ones. Sustainability was as well actually led through by things like BREEAM Excellence and legacy codes, and Code for Sustainability Homes was as well achieved. Equality, inclusion, employment, and skills. This is something that becomes part of your yeah, key performance indicators at project level. Yeah? So this is quite unusual. Then as well, transport, sustainability, community engagement, and last but not least, the designing for legacy. Yeah? So those were, read through them if you want to have a look at that. I wanted to end maybe on the results of that case study. So 50 billion efficiency savings through enabling work projects. Yeah, and what that means is that is what they could save the program itself. Yeah, and then 120 million plus of value engineering savings in on infrastructure projects. This is in a way what we as well work through when it comes to realizing what the stakeholder expectations is, and coming up with solutions that accommodate that better than the usual solutions. 100 million plus of procurement gains through flexible procurement strategies. They worked a lot with partners instead of like subcontracting everything locally out, which was an interesting concept. Yeah. Other savings through contract administration and robust contingency management and robust project control systems. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, I have even the setup from that. So this is available if you're interested in this. Yeah. And then last but not least, the program delivery management system was accredited as ISO 2001, and this was really the ICT system behind it. They used actually an adapted model from BIM. So if you're interested in that, I can give you as well access to this. Okay, sorry, that was quite a run through, but I think I want to leave it at that point. And any questions?
Go back to 3 slides back. There is a stage which is called here, yeah, deconstruction and transformation. What
yeah.
this means?
A lot of the Olympic Park was actually redesigned. I don't know if you have been there this year. You can actually see there's a lot of construction going on. One of the stadiums was actually sold to West Ham United, if I'm not mistaken. and they're just refitting this to a football stadium. So it was an athlete stadium first.
We use that particularly for some games, and then there's no need of
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in a way it's sad. You know, you would have hoped that the sport would have created the demand for it, but it didn't really happen. Any other questions? Yeah.